Hey craft cocktail and tiki drink fans, this is Bourbon Bill with Bourbon Bill's Pirate Bar. Today you're going to absolutely go ape over this drink. It's called the Naked Ape, and we want to show you how easy it is for you to make this at home. We believe that you can do it. You'll have fun mixing this. You'll show off some skills in front of your friends and guests, and we think you'll have a fantastic time. So let's get into how to make this right after this. Hey, welcome back. Hey, we're going to talk today about the Naked Ape. Now, this was actually named for a San Francisco exotica band called Ape that performed at Smuggler's Cove, one of those rare concerts that Smuggler Cove put on, and they made a specialty cocktail, a signature cocktail for that event, and that's how we came to have the Naked Ape. Now, there's a few things you need to know. There's several ingredients, and we're going to show you what those are. So we're going to take a second and go pillage the fridge. We're going to need some banana liqueur, but we're going to use banana rum today, a black blended rum, and some pot stilled aged rum that's overproof. Okay, and we'll get into that a little bit, and some cinnamon, simple syrup, and some lemon juice and bitters. Okay, we'll get into each of those details as we go along here. Now, just to take a second here, if this is your first time visiting our channel, we really appreciate you taking your time to see what this is all about. If you're a returning viewer, we really appreciate it. And if you don't mind, put your city that you hail from down in the comments. We're gathering that. Bootleg Minnie's been after me forever to show that map, and I'll need to do that probably sooner than later. We're getting pins from all over the place, and we really appreciate it. But we have just a couple of housekeeping issues right before we get into the heart of this. We publish Wiki Tiki magazine, which is a high-gloss lifestyle magazine about tiki culture, tiki lifestyle, tiki history, and music. We have a lot of fantastic recipes in here. And down here at the bottom is a link as how you can get your copy in either print or digital form. The print ones go pretty quick, so you might want to jump on that sooner or later. Today we're going to talk about the Naked Ape. This one comes from Martin Cate's Smuggler's Cove. If you don't have that book, it's a great resource on tiki history. A little shout out to Martin there. We have a link down in the description as to how you can get your copy on Amazon. All right, so let's dive right in. So we're going to start off with our mixology and craft Boston shaker set. We've been using this for years. It holds up well, looks gorgeous, and you can also find that down in the description as well. All right, so the Naked Ape has several different ingredients in it. Today we're going to do it shaker style. There's basically two methods of mixing cocktails. There is what's called a build drink, where you just kind of build it in the glass and you stir it. And you could do that one. You could do that with this particular drink. But today we're going to shake things up, and we're going to use a little bit of our agitator cubes, a couple ice cubes, just to go in there to chill things down, make sure things are nice and cold and just has the right amount of dilution for this. And you'll see why we need a little bit of dilution right now. All right, our first ingredient, the original recipe calls for a banana liqueur. That's great, but I happen to like the Tortola Banana Rum. It's very banana forward on this, so you get that flavor. And we only need a half an ounce of this. So you're going to see that most of the ingredients have the same amount that goes into the mix, so it makes it easy to remember. All right, so that's our banana rum. The second one is we want a black blended rum, and today we're going to use Goslings Bermuda Black Seal rum. This one happens to be the 151 proof because Wheeler likes a little punch in his punch, if you know what I mean. All right, so this one calls for 1.5 ounces Now keep in mind that this is 151 proof, so be responsible when we have this, because we want you guys around for a long time. All right, next comes in, it calls for a pot-stilled, slightly aged overproof rum. Okay, and there are a lot of great products out there on there. So when we here at Bourbon Bill's Pirate Bar, when we talk about overproof, we always go for Plantation's O.F.T.D. Now the O.F.T.D. means old-fashioned traditional still, and it's a Jamaican style rum. It's got a little bit of funkiness to it, and this one also is 1/2 ounce. So if you're keeping track, we're up to 2 ounces. 2.5 ounces of alcohol, but with the 151 and the overproof, it's probably closer to like 3.5. So just kind of gauge yourself. This is not a pounder. This is a slow sipper, if you know what I mean. All right, so let's talk about some of the other ingredients. There's a limerick that says 1 strong, 1 weak, 1 sour, 1 sweet. So we've definitely covered the strong so far. All right, so the next ingredient is weak. All right, so we're going to add in a little bit of simple syrup. In this case, we're going to add in some cinnamon simple syrup. Now you can go out to the store and you can buy simple syrup already made, but there's a reason it's called simple syrup. Okay, if you just take some white sugar or demerara sugar, 1 cup and 1 cup of water, and boil it till it becomes clear, and then let it cool down and put it in a food safe water airtight container. It'll last in your refrigerator for 2 or 3 weeks. Okay, this particular recipe asks that you add a little bit of cinnamon to it, so about a teaspoon of cinnamon or a couple of cinnamon sticks, a teaspoon of ground cinnamon that is, or a couple of cinnamon sticks while you're boiling that up. It'll release that cinnamon flavor into that, and it makes a fantastic mixer. So this one also calls for a 1/2 ounce. I think you're starting to see a pattern here with the measurements. Throw that in. That is our weak. All right, and now we want the sour. Now Bourbon Bill is so blessed that I can literally walk out the back door here in Florida and we have oranges and tangerines and limes and lemons and grapefruit. So we have fresh fruit all the time. Now, I would also challenge you to ditch the plastic and use fresh squeezed whenever you're having drinks for yourself or for your guests. It's just better. I mean, bootleg minis almost cringes because I say it so much. You would cut a fresh onion for a dinner. Why wouldn't you just squeeze something really quick for a fantastic cocktail? All right, so we take a 1/2 ounce of lemon juice, pour that right in. And then for our last ingredient, the recipe in the book called for Angostura bitters. Now, sometimes there's just a little bit of confusion as to what that is. Angostura is a brand, but when it just says bitters, they are almost always referring to aromatic bitters. Now, Angostura also makes a fantastic orange bitters, but there are other brands out there like Woodford Reserve. They have a black cherry, a chocolate, they have some other flavors. But today we're using strong water. My daughter turned me on to this. Strong water bitters, I think it's a better value. It's a great product, and it calls for a dash of bitter. So we're using the strong water aromatic bitters, and when they say a dash or a splash, let me show you what the difference would be. Okay, a dash is that, it's like just a drop or two. Okay, when it calls for a splash, that's more like a boop in there, almost like almost a teaspoonful, just enough to get that little splash effect. But when it says 5 dashes, that really means just like 5 drops. Okay, so you don't want to overwhelm the drink in some cases. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. In this case, not so much. All right, so that's it. So we're going to take the other half of our Boston shaker set, give that a good slap, and a good shake. Now, you'll hear those agitator cubes go in there, and as you shake it, they'll start to go away. And you'll see a little bit of frost developing on the tin, the little condensation. That's when you know that everything is working and blending really well. Okay, you could use a little flash blender, but you know, shaking it's just as easy, and honestly, it does just as well. All right, so let's talk about vessels here for just a second. Not everybody has a tiki collection, a tiki mug collection, or maybe you're just starting out. The original recipe called for a fez-wearing monkey tiki mug. This particular one's called the Shrunkenmunk, and a little shout out to Brad Parker. He actually signed this one for me, so hey Brad, I really appreciate it. And what this is really, you know, kind of goes in line with the Naked Ape. Okay, this one's called the Shrunkenmunk, so I mean it's just a little variation of the same thing. And part of the tiki culture is collecting tiki mugs. And in the July August issue, we talk about different tiki bars that different bars have that have had designers design custom mugs for them. That's in the July August 25 Wiki Tiki magazine. All right, so we're going to load this thing up. It is a sizable mug. Okay, you don't have to necessarily always fill them up to the rim, but you want enough ice in there for your guests to make sure that the drink is ice cold and adds just the right amount of dilution in that, particularly since we've had some overproof stuff here. All right, so we got the ice in there. And I'm going to just give you a quick little tip here on bartending. A lot of times you see these little strainers, and a lot of people have no idea what they're for, other than, you know, it's just kind of pretty and it sits in the jar on the bar. Okay, but it actually has a purpose. This is what's called a gated strainer. You see it has this little coil spring around here. Put that bad boy right on top, and the spring allows you to move that back and forth. Now, if you had a real pulpy drink, like say you had passion fruit puree in it, like some drinks, or fresh squeezed oranges, sometimes it's real pulpy and some people don't like pulpy, you can kind of move that gate back and forth a little bit to strain as much or as little as you want out in this one. Okay, we don't really have too much pulp in this one because it's just a little bit of lime juice, but just, you know, a little bartending education here. So we're going to take it, and we're going to pour that golden drink right in there on that ice. Let that cool down. Now the original recipe said, when he talked about garnish, said none. Okay, I get it. It's called the Naked Ape. I get that. But here at Bourbon Bill's Pirate Bar, oh, one other thing about that. We also have what's called Bourbon Bill's Mixologyexperience. I can come to your home, to your business, to your event, and we mix drinks. We talk about tiki history, tiki drink cocktail history. We swap some tall tales because it's not just a drink, it's an adventure. And I'm available to do that either live in person or virtually. We can send kits out that has all the ingredients that you need for this. We'll have a great time. And also look down in the description for more on that. All right, so we got our drink in there. We want to dress this up a little bit because that's part of the experience. You know, the presentation is part of the experience. The smell is part of the taste experience, okay? So we want to make sure that it's properly dressed. So we have kind of a long straw for this oversized tiki mug with a little umbrella, but it still looks a little sparse. So right before the show, I went out and clipped some fresh mint, and we'll put that right in there and dress that bad boy right up. And there you have it, the Naked Ape. All right, so the last couple of things about this, you know, be responsible because we have some serious alcohol in this one. You'll go ape over this one if you have too many, if you know what I mean. Enjoy it with your friends. Put your city down in the comments. And also check out some of our other videos on this channel. If you liked this presentation today, please give us a big thumbs up. And while you're at it, go ahead and hit that subscribe, like, and hit that notify bell so you're the first to know when our new videos hit the channel. Well, that's it for today. I'm going to go enjoy this with Bootleg Mini, and we're going to just enjoy this and just kind of get an idea of, you know, different flavors blended together. I believe in you. I know you can do this, and when you try new things, you know, some you'll absolutely love, some maybe not so much, but you know what? It expands your horizons, and you'll look like an expert bartender in front of your friends. Well, that's it for today. This is Bourbon Bill with the Naked Ape, and cheers.